Okay, this is what you're going to need to make colloidal silver. It looks like a lot, but it's not a lot. And this here has nothing to do with the colloidal silver. That's just an alert system for bad weather because we live in a tornado alley. All right, now, first off, you're going to need water. All right, here is the best way to go. Right here, steam distilled water. That's the best way to go. You're going to need coffee filters. All right, now the coffee filters should be natural brown. In other words, don't bleach them. You don't want any impurities or other. There's just going to be natural brown coffee filters, and they are actually a little brown. See? A little brown. Okay? They haven't been bleached, all right? All right, then you're going to need funnels. Plastic, no metal can be used whatsoever around colloidal silver. You'll ruin the colloidal silver, all right? You're going to need a spoon to stir your water, your colloidal silver water. Use plastic again, no metal. Glass. You're going to need a glass jug, okay? This here is just a mason jar, okay? It's got a little bit of a yellow tint in it right now because I've already seeded the water. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a little bit of a tint. All right? And the reason for that is I filled this thing up 95% with the steam distilled water, all right? And then I took my old colloidal silver that I haven't used yet, and I store them. You store the colloidal silver in a dark green or a dark brown jug. This is my old batch right here. This here, you got to have brown because sunlight and fluorescent light or any kind of light will ruin this colloidal silver after a while. Plastic caps too, by the way. You want to use a plastic cap. Right, I got a plastic cap for this one too. You know, like a Aquafina bottle fit that perfectly for some reason. This is just one of those Nani bottles. All right, and then of course you're going to need the silver. I got this silver from, where is it right here? Okay, sunstoneherbals.com. All right, it's 0.9999 fine silver electrodes, and they're actually made for colloidal silver, they say, but it's just silver. You can get these at a jeweler, the same price. I paid like $9-10, and it's got to be 0.999 fine. It comes with a little scouring pad so you can clean off the little silver rods. And when you buy it, it'll come with a little tiny, well, this particular brand will come with a little tiny package, and when you open it, in there you'll find 2 pieces of wire, okay? And they're silver. All right, and then what I did, and let's see if you can see this. What I did is I took a block of wood that was a little bigger than the top of the jug, all right? Took a block of wood, and I drilled 2 holes in it, as you can see. And I run the silver wires just through them, but I bend the top of the silver wire so they won't fall all the way through, because you don't want them falling in all the way into the wire because you want to keep that separate. So what you do is you fill the water. Now this is what I do, all right? 95%. Now if you don't have colloidal silver laying around the house, don't worry about it. It'll just take you a little longer to make your first batch. Me, 15 minutes, and then I'll clean off the wires, and then I'll do it another 15 minutes, and my batch is done. You might have to go 15, 15, and 15. In other words, clean off the wires every 15 minutes. Reason being is, the reason I don't have to go as long is because I'll put in about this much. Like, you know, in other words, this thing is 95% filled with just regular water from the steam distilled, and then I'll put in about that much of my old colloidal to seed it, you know, to give it a head start. All right, and so what you do is you take the block of wood and you make sure you clean the wires off, because one of them is going to turn black on you from well, whatever happens with the electrolysis. And so you just put these in the water like that. You just drop it on there. All right, now, but you got to make sure they're not touching. That's why I like to stretch them out straight when I clean them. Nice and straight. You see that? Nice and straight. All right. I guess if I can't get over here a little bit because I want to be able to get a good picture later. All right, and then you want to go to Radio Shack and get some wire. I made these. You can get them where they got the little screws, and you just make them myself. And they're cheaper if you make them yourself, or you can use like maybe $2 each. They'll make them for you, where you're going to have, you know, alligator clip on each end. All right, you're going to have one on the bottom, and then you're going to have one on the top. And one is going to have to be black for negative, and of course the other one's going to have to be red for positive. All right, and so you just pick a wire and you clamp it. All right, and you take the other wire and you clamp it too. Now, right now, The electricity is what you're gonna. This is how it's gonna make the colloidal silver. Now you got to be careful too. If you don't straighten these wires out and you start moving these wires around when you're putting them on the batteries, they might touch. You don't want these wires to touch when those batteries are connected, because if you do, you'll burn your batteries up in about 30 seconds to a minute. You'll waste your batteries. Now, how do you get 27 volts? Just like that. 3 9-volt batteries connected in series. That's all you got to do. You say in other words, the top battery, this top battery, its negative pole goes to the positive pole on that battery, and the positive pole goes to the negative pole on that battery, and so then you're left with a negative on this side, and then you're left with a positive on that side. And what ends up happening is 3 9-volt batteries in series become 27 volts, and that's plenty of voltage. All right. So what I do is, now this doesn't really matter, but I just like to keep positive to positive. So on the positive side, I put the red wire. All right, positive side you put the red wire, and then on the negative side you put the negative wire. All right, the negative side you put on the negative wire. Oops, it's hard to do this through the screen rather than using my eyeballs here. There, now it's connected. You're not going to see anything right. Oh, I don't know. You might start seeing some bubbles coming off the wire. But what you do now is you let this run for 15 minutes, okay? It's 9:15. Let me just double check what time it is right here. All right, it's 9:15, all right? All right, so it's 9:16, 15. In 15 minutes, I'm going to come back and I'm going to clean off the wire that turns black. And I'm pretty sure that's the negative one. So the one on the right here is going to turn, well, it looks like the one on the left's turning black. Whichever one, because I always switch these off after I clean them, so it's kind of hard for me to remember which one's which after a while. And you'll also notice after about 15, sometimes 20 minutes, like a mist will start coming off one of the wires. That is the colloidal silver going into the water. And then when you stir that up and drink it, it's good. But I like to filter it before doing that. You don't want to have any big chunks of silver in your water, which a big chunk is still going to be hard for the eyeball to see, but it's big enough to cause you to be, you might have some blue tint to your skin, so you want to just filter it. So we'll be back in 15 minutes to check this out and see how it's going. Okay, I'm back, and it's been about 15 minutes, a little over. It's actually been 15. And I don't know if you could see this yet, but there is something happening here. Okay, if you look at the wire on the right, it's considerably darker, right, than this one, but look at the bubbles, right? Now there's also a fine mist, but I guess it's not going to be able to be picked up by this camera, but let me see if I can give you an idea of the colloidal in there. Look at it now. I'm putting a laser beam. Let me see if I can get this to zoom in. Look at the sparkles in the laser beam light. Those sparkles are reflections of silver inside the water. You see it? Now, if this was just steam distilled water, that laser beam would cut through there with no. There might be some impurities, but nothing like this. Okay, you can see the little sparkles. All right. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this thing off just by undoing the positive, okay? And then I'm going to take this out of the bottle and clean off. See the one on the left? It's darker. Okay, so I guess the one on the left is positive, and that's the one that got darker. And so that's the one I want to clean off. But you can see here at the top of the wire, the dark part is where it didn't touch the water. And all the silver just fell off and went into the water. And microscopic. Now look at that dark spot right there on the wire. That has to be cleaned off, and then I'm going to do another 15 minutes. And then we'll be back after I do another 15 minutes. And then by then you should be able to see the mist pretty good, unless of course my batteries are low. So be back in 15 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Now, I don't know if you can see this. If I get something dark behind it, then you can see. I'm looking around here and I don't see anything. Oh, here. Maybe I used my Bible. One of my little prayer Bible. I don't know if you could see. You can see the bubbles coming off of the wire. See them going up there, up the wire? I don't know if you can see the mist, but it looks like it's hanging like a cloud. See, yeah, there you go. You see that? Those lines? That's the mist. That mist is colloidal silver in the water. Now, look at the particles. Look at it. Now you can really see the mist. If I run the beam up the mist, this part of the bottle has no etching in it. So what you're seeing there is not bottle designs. That is actual colloidal silver, like a mist in the water. Isn't that cool? That's pretty amazing, I think. And then, as far as I'm concerned, I'm done. This is my colloidal silver. That right there will last. You see the yellow tint there? Well, it's a little bit more yellow. It was yellow to start with because I seeded it. But if this is the first batch you're making, you want to do this. You want to clean off the wires one more time. You're going to do it for 15 more minutes, and you'll have pretty strong colloidal silver. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you how I filter it. Okay. So let me get this lid off of here. I just stick the old funnel inside that bucket, you know, and I want this bucket. It has to be brown or green, you know, it can't have any light going on. And here's the brown filter. I put the brown filter in there kind of weird light because it kind of, you know, like out of light. Look, come on, this thing needs to focus. There we go. See, the filter's kind of bent on the end there. That way it'll stay open. Okay, let me disconnect this. Okay, so we disconnected the wires, and what we have left here is raw colloidal silver. Okay, now this, I want to pour this into here. Alright, and just let it filter gradually. Now this rubber funnel, now you can get a plastic one too, that'll work just fine. This rubber funnel actually came with a little copper screen at the base of the hole. I had to take that screen out because that's metal. You run any kind of metal through your colloidal silver, you're going to ruin it. I'm still good. Actually, it's in the water now, so I got to kind of pull this thing out and let it drain. Okay. Not easy to do this. This is the first time I've ever done a video on camera like this, and I gotta tell you, this ain't easy, holding this camera like this. Okay. To recap, what you need to make colloidal silver. Unbleached coffee filters. Natural brown, okay? 0.999 fine silver wire. Well, this place actually was selling it as colloidal silver electrodes, so that's why they named it that. But you can get this for about 10 bucks. Well, at least it was a couple, 3 years ago, 10 bucks. sunstoneherbals.com. Alright? So I get mine, about 10 bucks. When you get it, it comes with a little cleaning, it comes with a little instruction manual, and you'll have 2 wires inside that rip right there. One of them fell out, but there's 2 wires, okay? And it comes with a cleaning little scouring pad, so you can clean the wire off every 15 minutes. Okay, you'll need a funnel. I'm going to use this funnel here, of course, to put it into there. You'll need brown glass with a plastic lid. You don't want any metal anywhere. When you stir your colloidal silver, you use a plastic spoon. And you can, and again, I'm storing it in a green bottle too, with any kind of excess that I got left over. And again, a plastic cap. All right. And when you make it in a mason jar, clear, clean mason jar with steam distilled. Okay. The easiest way to do this without having to get too technical, because I'm too busy to be making a big old thing, I just took the wires, bent them on the ends, made a little block of wood with 2 holes in it, and put the wires through the holes, and then that way the bend prevents them from falling through. And I put this on top of the glass, and the wires go inside the glass. And then you just get some alligator clips from Radio Shack, make one side red, one side black, and then of course you hook them up to 3 batteries. How you do this with the batteries is like this. You get 3 9-volt batteries, okay? You just put them side by side. Now if you notice, when you put them side by side like this, it's always hard to remember. Now when you put them side by side like this, you'll notice there's a negative and a positive. You take another battery and you take its negative and positive and you put it together. That'll leave you the positive and the negative left. That's where you hook your wires to, your silver wires. You hook that to that. That way, when you put them in series like this, you now have 27 volts right there. 3 9-volt batteries in series. That's about it. Thank you for watching, and God bless.